Never pass.
So, are we just gonna get into how Evan postponed this episode so he could watch the Knicks play?
Mustard on the beat,
I
ho,
wish.
Debo,
I
nigga,
wish.
rap, nigga, he a freak throw, man down, call like Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro, nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo, what's up with these, bro?
All right, my bad. Go ahead. Sorry. It's a vibe. Go ahead. My bad.
Bro, that song is so fucking catchy, man.
No, he gave us a bop. People were clamoring and saying they want son to go to the club too. Well,
Oh, everyone in LA were bopping to that song this weekend.
listen, man. Pull out my chucks.
Chucks.
I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3 on 3 podcast. I'm your guy Hans here with my main man Ev. What's going on, Ev? How you doing today, sir?
It's orange and blue skies over here, Loador. Orange and blue skies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely understand. You're living it up right now. Also here with my main man Lou. What it do, Lou?
Peace, love, and harmony, folks. Good to see y'all again. Good to be back in action.
Yes, sir. Happy to have you back, sir. Happy that you're back on the 3 on 3, feeling better. We missed you. Appreciate you coming back, man. And as always, we have the Pod Mamba in the scenes, making sure we're on point, coaching us from the bench, recovering and resting, having to fill in for Lou. He's not used to getting on the court, so he got to rest up. He got to rest up. So my man's taking a breather right now. But we don't get a breather, guys. We're getting right into it because the playoffs are heating up. They're heating up. We're down to the final four for each coast, and we're going to get right down into it. This is where teams get real physical. The competition is at its highest. You don't typically see teams getting blown out. The games are typically kind of going back and forth, and they're competitive. So we're all excited about this time of year and seeing great games. We're going to start with the matchups on the West Coast. On the West Coast, you have the Minnesota Timberwolves with the emerging Ant-Man himself against the defending champs with Joker, arguably one of the greatest big men to play the game already. He's not even done yet. And as we're recording, they're actually playing right now, but Minnesota did get the first win. And on the other side, we have OKC with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and the crew, because they like to be mentioned together. There's no one person. They're very team-oriented, with Luka Magic and Mr. Handles himself, Kyrie stand-up jers, doing their thing, kicking the Clippers off, and they're set to play this upcoming tomorrow. So let's start off with the Nuggets and Minnesota matchup. We already talked about the emergence of Anthony Edwards and his game, what he stands for and what he's shown us and what we potentially see him being. We mentioned that on the last episode. But now, guys, let's talk about this Minnesota Timberwolves team. Are they here? Are they for real? They already got the first game on Denver's home court. They stole home court advantage. And right now, currently, as we're recording, they're leading. They're playing their brand of basketball. They're not showing any fear. How scared, Evan, should the Denver Nuggets be of these Minnesota Timberwolves?
Two-part answer to that. First part, reasonably worried, but not something insurmountable. They're the defending champs. They should expect that they're going to get everybody's best shot, and repeating's hard. So they should expect that they're going to have some hard rounds if they're going to make it through. They didn't look quite as sharp as they did last year, especially down the stretch as they closed out the season. Jamal Murray nursing the injury in the last series. Looking not hearing about it as much through the first or second game of this series, but it doesn't mean he's 100% healthy. So they knew what they had their work cut out for them. Where they should be more concerned, though, is that Minnesota is a team that's uniquely constructed to go against what they do best. I mentioned Murray. Minnesota, the game that's on right now and through parts of game one, they could throw Anthony Edwards on Jamal Murray, who's looking for that challenge. They could throw Jaden McDaniels on him to pick him up 94 feet to wear him down and whatnot. So this isn't a series where Jamal Murray gets to get around and have fun and be free as a guard. He's got people that are going to be breathing down his neck the whole time. And then the Joker, uncharacteristic game for him in game one. Struggled from the front of floor shooting. What Minnesota is doing is they're putting Cat on Joker. They're leaving Rudy Gobert to float free and crash down when Joker gets towards the paint to both impact his shot and cut off his passing lanes to Aaron Gordon and the others like they like to do and like a lot of other teams fall for. So when you have a team that's uniquely qualified defensively to match up against what you do best, it's cause for concern there because against most other teams, Denver is an unstoppable offense, a riddle to crack. Minnesota has answers for that. Ultimately, though, it's going to come down to Ant and keep ascending the way that he's been ascending to who ultimately pulls out this series, in my opinion.
Got you. Lou, as far as Minnesota is concerned, are they just playing with house money? Or do you see them as having a legitimate chance of beating the defending champs and maybe even making it all the way to the finals?
I think when you're the number one defense in the league and you've been that and you stapled yourself as that, you have to consider the fact that this is a possibility. Evan made some great points about what's currently going on with Denver, and going back to back is not easy. So for a team like this, who's young, eager, coached well, has the depth, has some peppering of some veteran leadership with Mike Conley, because that's probably one of the biggest things I'm worried about when it comes to this team, is that this team being young and inexperienced when it comes to moving forward in these playoff matchups. I don't remember the last time that they got to the second round, probably within the last 5 years. So for them to be
20 years.
See, so now you guys are kind of moving into an uncharted territory where none of the guys that you have on the court as Timberwolves have had this level of success, but it's really heavily attributed to their defense. And when you have a solid defense like they do, you're going to give any team, even the reigning champs, some trouble. Cat has fell into his role and accepted it. And I think that's also been a major boost for the Timberwolves. So he's not one, they're not counting on him to be the guy, and also relieves the pressure of him having to be so. And somebody like Ant, who relishes in that, is ready to take the reins. Having Rudy Gobert being your cornerstone for your defense, and then having all the other pieces around them, the continuous emergence of Naz Reid. So the Timberwolves are constructed as best as you can be to go against the defending champion. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I don't see this going for anything less than 6.
Yeah, I, for one, see it going 7. I see it going all the way, just because they're a young team, but they don't necessarily play like a young team, if that makes sense. They don't give you So when you traditionally see a young team play, they have these laps of what I call just immaturity, whether their shots are not falling or they're turning it over a bunch of times, whatever it may be. But one thing I have noticed, and this could possibly be the coaching, right? Finch, this could be a credit to his coaching. They don't have those big laps of immaturity where they fall into something that's fool's gold, whether it be turnover or some lapse of judgment. Their lapse of judgments are not that long to where it shifts the whole momentum of the game. Now, granted, we've seen throughout this season, especially last season with Denver, whenever you play them, your margin for error is very slim. Similar to when Golden State was in their heyday, right? You only had so much to mess up before they ran up a lead on you and you were just out of it in the third quarter. And we're not seeing that with this Minnesota team. They're taking advantage of every possession, a term that I'm hearing a lot this year, especially in the postseason. That's probably going to become my pet peeve is valuing the ball. Valuing the ball. And they're controlling the flow between Ant and Mike Conley. They have the maturity in the backcourt to really control the game. And that's, to me, a huge factor for this team because at the end of the day, they're young, but they're not playing young. They're playing mature. They're playing like a veteran team. They really are.
And they got guys who've been in the league long enough. It's just a matter of the playoff maturity, right?
But
That's
they haven't.
what I'm
But
getting at.
that's what I'm saying. You've been in the league, but you haven't been there. So it's like,
Yeah, no, I feel that, but the having the balance of their personnel, Mike Conley, who's your guy, who's sitting there, who's going to set the pace. Here's what you need to do, because we also remember during the season, Ant, he'll play amazing, but then he also has some duds, right? So how do you then kind of prepare for those types of things? Again, having their other personnel that can really come in and supplement and allow Ant to play the way that he needs to play. Like Mike Conley, he's your floor general, right? He's your coach on the court, and he's able to kind of with his pedigree, right, with his experience as a veteran who's been in playoff runs, he can help kind of round all of that out. And like I said, man, the defense is a key factor that in terms of what you're talking about. Those margins for error, yeah, you have to minimize that, not just on the offensive side to be able to do that, but definitely on the defensive side. So they're definitely valuing. I couldn't take.
no, I say it. I mean, it's fine. Valuing the ball.
Yeah, it was just a joke because I have been hearing it
this season,
but I didn't really understand what this value in the ball is. I could understand they would say valuing possessions, which I think they actually are trying to say, but valuing the ball. Like, okay, what else are you supposed to value? How else are you going to score, right? What are you dribbling? The ball is quintessential to the sport.
Just juxtapose them with another team, Lou. That's all.
That's it.
Just do that. But
you need the ball so you can get to all three levels.
Yes. There
Lou,
we
you
have
jumped
the
on two
trifecta.
things. You jumped on two things though. That one, yeah, that age thing. They feel young, right? But Cat's 28, Gobert's 31, Conley's 36, Kyle Anderson's in his 30s. Ant's young, but Ant's the one that's playing like Kobe Jordan, right? And so that takes us to the other point that you said about the duds. That's been kind of the thing with Ant. When you look at why, as great as he averages, though, 25 points a game during the regular season versus your 28s and your 29s, because you have that mixture of games. I think what we're seeing is through 5 games of this playoff so far, right, especially games 3 and 4 in Phoenix and game 1 versus Denver, we're seeing that next level of Ant in the highest level of competition. So we're kind of watching it, waiting for the dud again, right, to balance itself out. But if we're at the beginning stage of a permanent ascent, then we're at the beginning stages of a very fascinating story that could, Phoenix was like a preview, right? If he keeps it up in this series, now we're talking about a whole different conversation. The Kobe Jordan comparison was cute, but if he does it in this round here, okay, now we're talking about something. Yeah, now we're talking about something serious.
He
I
did
think that's what we're
so
watching
it's legit.
Yeah.
And he did against the defending champs.
That's the biggest piece, right? Because you do it twice, you get your idols became your rivals, got them up out of there, and then now this is your true test, and it will show us if this is the beginnings of what we thought it could be, right? And we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I for one am a little disappointed that they're meeting at this point. Wish they would meet later, right? So that's one thing I am a little kind of disappointed about. But
that's Denver's fault.
It is Denver's fault. They should have seeded. I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you.
Shout out to your rookie of the year. They had the first seed in their hands. They gave up an unbelievable second half to Wemby, the next to last game of the season, and now they're dealing with this in the second round.
Hey man, thank you for pointing that out. Victor Wembanyama did win Rookie of the Year, as we all foresaw. Wasn't going to be Chet by any means.
I tried to steal that from you before you brought it up.
I know you did. It's fine.
We all foresaw?
The fact still.
That's crazy. That's a crazy statement right there. We all foresaw that. Interesting.
Listen, man.
I love it.
As a team.
Watch me try to tease it. Speaking of Chet, come on, Hans, do your job.
So listen.
I'm
gonna drop some Bible. I'm gonna drop some Bible here. Okay. We all foresaw. Visions are often given, but doesn't mean they have to be accepted. All right. So, the vision was given, but the prophet didn't take it. Doesn't mean the vision wasn't out there. Doesn't mean the truth was presented. So, yeah. But anywho, speaking of Chet and OKC, we have them going against the Dallas Mavericks. OKC's been sitting here chilling, twiddling their thumbs. I think them and the Celtics have had the longest break in terms of the second round play. So they may have to deal with the rust factor on their first games. But I actually like this matchup. I think it's going to be a fun matchup. I think it's going to be a high scoring matchup. It's going to be exhilarating. I did not see this matchup coming, honestly, just because I didn't think Dallas was going to be ranked this high. I didn't think they were going to, have this push, but they definitely turned it around. They did a 180 in terms of defense. And not to mention, Kyrie has really started to gel better with Luka. Compared to how they ended things last year. So this is really a dynamic team to watch, both of them. So I'm going to start with you this time, Lou. So when it comes to this OKC and Luka and Kyrie matchup, which matchup are you excited to see? Shea and Luka or Shea and Kyrie? Which,
you already know.
Which matchup are you trying to see?
It's actually Giddy and no play.
It's not Chet. No. Okay. No.
But so it's funny you mentioned Chet. I think Chet is going to be that's going to be the X factor. I think he's going to determine how the series goes. But in terms of seeing these two guys, man, the decision making of Luka versus the decision making of Shea Gilly, the scoring ability of Kyrie versus scoring ability in the series, of Shea Gilly. Like, those are the things I'm really going to be looking forward to see. It's going to be one of those, I think Kyrie is going to see a little bit of himself in Shea Gilly. But I think it's going to be very, very exciting to see. I'm curious to see how he's going to navigate this type of situation, especially like you mentioned, this surge of Dallas really buying into playing defense for real. Whatever J Kidd said in the meeting, in the team meeting, it's clicked now, and then that offensive boom that they needed that comes from the Wizard and Kyrie. So it's tough for me to say I'm particularly looking forward to one matchup versus the other, because I think Shea has the pieces of what Luka brings to the table, and also the pieces of what Kyrie brings to the table. So, the other guys are going to be, Dort, I mean, I'm jokingly say Giddy, but Giddy has been playing better as of late, so he's going to be
Yeah, he's been
important.
scoring. So
Exactly. It's like, wow, you can shoot the ball. I almost thought we almost had another Australian situation on our hands. So
wow.
we're gonna go, and then I think, like I said, Chet is a dog. He changes the game defensively, but also he has a soft touch, so he can not
And he's
only
soft
just score.
inside too. So there's that. Just saying. He's soft
Well,
inside. Just,
I mean, look, no
Just
Diddy,
throwing it out
but
there.
we're not worried about.
I pointed out for episodes that I work
He's
with
Pillsbury.
haters. So
I'm just saying.
I mean,
But anyway, so what big man are you really worried about from Dallas, though?
Listen, all I'm saying is I don't think he's going to do what some may think he's going to do inside against Lively or Gafford. Zubac was a bigger body, right? That's why.
Yeah.
And shout out to J Kid. Let me go back real quick though. I'm sorry, I'm gonna run it to you real quick. I have to
Do your
shout
thing.
out. I have to shout out J Kid. I, for one, way before this episode years ago, was very critical of J Kid's coaching,
And I was the exact
especially when he
opposite.
first came out. Huh?
I was the exact opposite. I was
Yeah,
hyped. I was like, "Oh, he's
I
fire!
was
This is gonna be great."
very, very critical of him when he first got, into the league and things of that nature. But to see the adjustments that he made during this Clippers series, and also defense is really what won this series. That Dallas committing on the defensive side and their stars committing, Luka and Kyrie, them committing to put effort for on the defensive side of the ball really changed that series. But the adjustments that he did with the center position and how to guard Zubac and how to flash down and force the ball out of his hands, because he was getting sunned in the center the first two in the paint in the first two games, and that changed completely. So shout out to J Kid. I want to put that out there as well. To that point, Ev, what matchups are you looking for in this Dallas OKC, or what are you excited to see in this matchup?
so what's exciting to me about this matchup is that I consider it a system versus a machine, and
Okay.
you could take it either way. Luka is a system unto himself, to steal it from James Harden, and
It's James Harden 2.0.
they figured out how to most seamlessly incorporate Kyrie Irving off the ball into that Lucas-centric offense, and they keep them on the same. One of them's on the court 48 minutes a game, but OKC is a machine and a well-oiled machine, and one that just operates. And a team has yet to get them off of their stride. Although Shea Gilly is the fulcrum of that offense, there's nothing overdone by him. There's no overdominance of the ball. Jalen Williams up
About
to
to say
21.
Jalen Williams.
Absolutely 21 a game in the playoffs. They get contributions from multiple players. You've talked about the ascendance of Josh Giddey. And so I'm looking forward to the fact that, I was texting as well saying, look at Luka D. The D's for defense now, right? During
Yes,
that
sir.
Clippers series. The thing about the Clippers, though, very, I don't want to say ISO-centric, but not a lot of passes.
No,
in their
very
offense,
ISO-centric.
right?
They
No, that's
suck.
exactly
The whole
what it is.
organization sucks.
Listen.
Whoa. That's your fellow. That's your
Hold on,
fellow
time
West
out.
Coast. Don't
You know?
no West Coast slander.
You're a
man.
loser
Oh.
organization that will always lose in the playoffs.
What
These
about-
pundits need to realize this. I'm tired
Didn't
of
they
them
win
always
more
having the
games?
Clippers so high up. I'm tired. I'm
Didn't they
tired
win
of
more
it.
games than the Lakers this playoff? Didn't they?
That's by circumstance. That's because our coach doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and that's why he's not there anymore.
Go
He had to
ahead.
get that one off his chest.
he had to, man. The West Coast is here, baby. Let's go.
yeah.
They not like us. They not like us.
Hey.
I was waiting for the day.
They kind of are like y'all right now.
Oh,
But
No, they're
I'll
not.
continue. Home. Y'all are all alike. But
Not the same
Anywho.
organization. Anyways,
fair. But where was I? I'm sorry.
You're saying that the OKC is a well-oiled machine.
Listen, the
Nobody
way
has
the-
yet to taken them off their stride, comparing it to the system that it is Luka. So the two different styles of play that have been dominant throughout the playoffs. You're excited to see that.
Thank you, because I'm worried right now that I took any shot at anybody West Coast related right now.
Listen, we
I
want no
apologize,
smoke,
Christian.
man.
I don't want no smoke with anybody at the moment. I couldn't even continue with my point. But yeah, I'm excited to see that though. Will the defense look the same versus this OKC offense? Very excited to see. And do they have what it takes to slow down Luka and Kyrie? Because like both of you have said, this is the best they've looked since they've been teammates.
They really figured something out. And also, let's not forget too, they're down to third leading scorer, Tim Hardaway Jr. So that's something to think about as well too. But like F said, OKC is a well-oiled machine. They lead the league in forcing turnovers off deflection, which is how they get their fast break points, which they lead the league in as well. So it is going to be, to me, a battle of the wills, and it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a fun matchup to watch. I actually think it may be more entertaining than the previous matchup that we watched, in the sense of styles, right, going over each other. But you got to give credit to them boys in Dallas. You got to give credit to Jason Kidd, which the Pod Mamba let me know signed a multi-year deal with the Mavs and a multi-year extension. He's kind of salty because he may have been rumored to be shopping with the Lakers. And if you don't know,
I'm not salty.
Pod Mamba was dancing, celebrating, dancing in the streets when the news came out that Darvin Ham was let go. Pod Mamba was just living it up, man.
Darvin Ham got fired. Not Like Us came out. Dude, I was sea
I was
walking
gonna
all
say
over.
that
LA.
was like within 12 hours, wasn't it?
It was a beautiful
That was a
weekend.
good weekend.
Yeah,
It was a great week in
Beautiful
LA.
Cinco de Mayo weekend for the West Coast.
But before we move on, I just want to say I don't think Laker fans really thought that Jason Kidd was going to be a head coach. I just thought it was interesting that he was tied to them for some reason. Almost like I feel like probably his agent put out those feelers just so the Mavs could give him that extension. The Lakers are always used as bargaining chips.
I'm about to say, because there's no way they were going to let him go. I mean, Jason Kidd has had so much success with that team.
Same thing with Ty Lue. Like,
Well-
if you talk to a lot of Clipper fans, they want Ty Lue fired, but Steve Ballmer was not going to allow him to go next door.
Why did you want Ty Lue fired? They need to
They
fire
don't like
the
him.
players.
They don't like him. They don't like Ty Lue.
Yeah. Do y'all trust anything he says about Clipper fans?
I mean,
Right, that's
one of
true.
my
Let
one
me
of
go
my
check
best
for myself.
one of
Let
my
me
best
go check
boys
for
is a
myself.
Clipper fan. He tells me. So I mean, that's where I get all my information from.
He's a
So,
cap.
well, I will say what you said. I do believe that both agents used the Lakers firing to get the money up for their coaches. And to Jason Kidd, there were some rumblings in the middle of the season when they were stumbling some before they went
That's
on that
my
9-game
thing,
streak
man.
and figured out the defense. There were questions about is Jay Kidd the guy for the job. There were some slight rumblings, but they put that to rest.
Yeah, man. Jay Kidd hasn't had a sparkling, his career as a coach is not like his career as a player. I'll say that. He's had some hiccups, but he's found his stride. He's found a organization that trusts him. He's found an organization that was going to be patient. The issue he had with Milwaukee and Brooklyn, right, was that they were in a kind of win now
Transitional
situation.
phase. Yeah.
And it was, to me, too much too soon for him. So that's my
I think
opinion.
the biggest thing is he didn't get enough of a chance. Dallas actually gave him a chance. He was in Brooklyn. He turned Brooklyn around from being a 30-team win and got them to the playoffs his first year as a coach. And then they let him go. But the team was in shambles already in itself. He got to Milwaukee. The team didn't want him to leave, right? The players, Giannis wanted to keep him. The organization, for whatever reason, they didn't want to be patient with him, and they moved on. So his situation in Dallas, I think, has been the best because it was a team who actually bought to the program and saw the long-term vision.
So I'll say this with that, right? And I know you're a J Kidd fan as a coach. His problem was his ego was bigger than what he was going for, because the reason he, well, multiple reasons, but there were some player issues in Brooklyn, but also in Milwaukee, he was wanting deals similar to Doc. So you know how Doc had a structure to where he wasn't just a coach, but he had front office as well. And he wanted a deal structured similar to that. And they were saying that you don't yet have the pedigree. And the articles that I read from that time were saying basically he was going after more than he was essentially worth. Is basically that. So before he got a chance to prove it, he was requesting things that. But also, I don't blame him or fault him for that, because if you guys remember during that time, the league was in this whole player coach infatuation. Remember Derek Fisher? Like it was
Steve
just like
Nash.
it was a fascinating time. It was
I don't remember that. No.
You don't remember that? Okay, I'm sorry. You try to black out those times. I understand. I try to do it too for a lot of Portland times. We just forget. Greg Oden, that never happened. We never drafted him. So, the league was infatuated, right, with player point guards turning into coaches.
Derek Fisher didn't get a chance. They didn't give him a chance. They didn't give him a fair shake.
I don't think he was a good coach. Well, yeah, he definitely got a fair shake.
Derek Fisher didn't have a team. If Derek Fisher had this team right now, this New York team right now, he would be in the same spot as Thibodeau. I mean, it's not that hard to play all your players 48 minutes.
Look at Evan's face. Yeah.
Speaking of the Knicks, let's go to the East Coast, baby. Let's go to the East Coast. Let's rock out. Let's rock out to the East Coast. Final four on the East Coast. We got the Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers. Then we also have the Boston Celtics versus the Cavs. The Cavs. All right. Let's start off with the Knicks, man. Let's get right into it.
I was about to
The
say,
Knicks.
this is all you, dog.
The Knicks won their first game in spectacular fashion, close game against the Indiana Pacers after eliminating, that's what I was going to say. I was ahead of myself. After eliminating the hobbled 76ers.
Ev said, Odos.
I got ahead of myself.
He said
After
those bucks.
eliminating the hobbled 76ers.
We're not missing players too. Continue.
You guys are.
Okay.
But
Keep.
you didn't have a player go scoreless that played most of the game.
You're set up. Who? Klay Thompson? You're set up, sir. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh man, you know what? Forget the setup.
Yeah.
All right, Ev. The floor is yours. Do the Knicks have enough offensive firepower to keep up with the highest scoring team in the league?
Does the team that scores the most points in the league have what it takes to shut down the East Coast Steph Curry? That's my
your
question
take.
for you.
Oh my gosh.
That's
the
my question
East
for
Coast
you.
Steph Curry?
And let me ask you this. If
Turn
Steph
my mic
Curry
off.
was having the performances that Jalen Brunson was having over the past 3 weeks, would you be able to see anything else on SportsCenter? Would they talk about anything else on Inside the NBA? Would there be anything else on your Twitter or X besides what Steph Curry was doing?
All these shows you're mentioning, where are they located? Answer the question. They're going to be
Inside the
talking about the
NBA
Knicks.
is in
What are you
Atlanta.
talking about? What are you
Inside
talking
the
about,
NBA is in
man?
Atlanta.
They
Okay.
they don't
Inside
they
the
need
NBA
this
is in
reason to talk
Atlanta.
about the Knicks.
I'm
That's why
answering
you guys
your
don't
question.
deserve anything.
Inside the NBA is in Atlanta. You want me to answer your question or not?
Where's First Take? Where's Get Up?
You just-
Where is Around the
First
Horn?
Take goes-
Where is PTI? Where are these? Where
Around the
are-
Horn is in 4 different
Washington.
locations. You're just throwing out states now to interrupt from talking about the New York Knicks. Okay, I'm just saying, 40 points, 4 straight games, dominance in the post, dominance from deep. Listen, the challenge coming into this series for the Knicks. Okay, I'm done. I threw that out already. I'm done with that. We're back. We're back.
Oh,
Calm
I'm
down.
still in shock from the Steph Curry. Like, Just
Listen, man.
Jesus.
Just put the stats up, man. I mean,
That's hyperbole. But go ahead.
Is it though? We're
It's
seeing,
very much so
we're seeing a
hyperbole.
transcendent performance. All right,
Very
but
much
right before
hyperbole.
us. It's cool. Y'all don't want to give him props. It's okay.
No, we can look up the stats and
To
compare.
to your question. I mean, 40 points in 4 straight games. But I'm giving you the stats. The thing that concerns me about this series is we don't have the bench to keep pace with a shootout with the Indiana Pacers. So we got to slow the game down. The Pacers, Halliburton doesn't look himself. I think tonight he didn't even come back in until like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. There's something going on with him. He hasn't been the same really since the in-season tournament. So that may work in our favor. But the cohesion that we continue to play with, the defensive discipline that the Knicks continue to play with will be key for keeping the reins on this offense. Can somebody please keep the pod on about the chat right now? But anywho, will be the key to keeping the reins on this offense. It's going to be tough every game, but if we can do that, one, we won't get ran into the ground because, yeah, we are playing a lot of minutes as our starters and we're down a lot of players, right? But two, we'll keep the games close and allow the best playing player in this playoffs thus far, Jalen Brunson, to continue to close our series for us.
Better than
That's
AE?
really what, the best player in the playoffs so far, Jalen Brunson, to continue to close out games for us.
You weren't talking that talk those first 2 games of the playoffs.
Oh my
Pull the tape, man.
gosh.
Pull the tape. When have I not talked this talk?
Well,
Listen,
okay.
man,
Let's.
talk your talk.
What I will say is that claim may not have been substantiated at that juncture.
I mean, but four 40-point games later, I mean, the claim is what it is.
Well, also an epic. Also an epic meltdown that should have never happened. That could toss you guys into OT, and then
we came
subsequently
back
losing the game
and
lost
we
that game.
closed out the series.
Yeah.
Listen, one, can somebody tell Hans to stop to focus on the show? Stop trying to look up stats to
Listen,
y'all focus.
No,
man. Focus
there's-
here, okay?
listen.
Goodness.
He's like, this is
There's-
egregious.
This is something
egregious.
that, and I'm glad Lou's
Focus on
here.
the show.
I'm glad Lou's here because last week was the worst. Last week was the worst because I was surrounded by these big market, arrogant, non-humble MFers here, just out here
Chicago's not
beating
big
their
market?
chest.
Interesting.
No, it's not.
Goodness,
You're the
It's
third biggest
never-
market in the country. What are you talking
It's
about?
not. It's,
I thought it was
Business
too,
wise, not
Christian.
in sports, it is not a major
big
market. You are
market.
tripping. Like,
Stop
yeah,
lying.
Michael Jordan was the market. Stop it.
Is that how we determine markets, Evan? I thought markets has to do with television rights and all this stuff.
You
Viewership.
haven't
Who's
learned
going
yet
to have
on
the
the
same television
selective.
rights like Los Angeles or New York? Stop
We're
it.
down to
When was the
television
I'll ask you a question. When was the last time the Bulls had a Christmas game?
The last time they had a good team.
When Derrick Rose was there,
Stop it.
So my question
The
is this.
Lakers
Will the
could
Lakers
have
ever not have a
Smush
Lakers
Parker
Thank you.
and be in the Christmas game.
yeah,
all
because
right?
we're the
Knicks
second
could
largest
have
market. We're one of the most decorated
Jeremy
franchises
Lin
in.
and be out here.
Yeah, we get the
All right.
viewership. Kobe Bryant was the draw. What are you talking about?
All right, cool. That's cool.
So, anywho,
Don't shut down.
my issue is my issue is I love the confidence. I'm happy for you.
So
Ev.
endearing, Christian. Don't shut down, Lou. Stay with us.
I'm rooting for the Knicks here.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for you guys. I want you guys to go to the finals. I'm rooting for you. But to compare him to the great Steph Curry, I think is hyperbole. But you're a New Yorker. You can't help yourself. So it is what
Big
it
city
is.
of dreams, baby.
Listen, man, like you said, right? Orange and blue skies. I'm with it.
I'm running out of Knicks shirts to wear on the pod.
Hey,
Oh,
man,
no,
get
damn
you some more.
pollution.
Get you some more. I'm with it. Well, let's move to the other side. We
Bunch of
can't.
rats in that team.
Let's move to the other side. We'll talk about what LA
It's
has.
a different
Okay,
issue.
Let's move to the other side. We have the Boston Celtics waiting for the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Orlando Magic in Game 7 and are now faced with the arduous task of taking down the East #1 team. And to Boston's credit, they've handled the Heat, even though the Heat didn't have Jimmy Buckets, Terry Rozier. I think Jaime Jaquez was out that last game too, or he was injured, something like that. But
Yeah.
anyway. So shout out to the Celtics for doing what they needed to do, get it done. Also, they benefited from this time off because Kristaps hurt his right calf.
Yeah, I believe it was the
So-
Cavs. Yeah.
Yeah, these calf strains, man. I don't know what it is. These new shoes, I don't know what's happening. So it gives
Not enough
him
blacktop.
time. Like Stephon Marbury said, they
Listen,
don't play in the
man,
streets enough.
They don't play in the streets no more, man. Their legs fragile.
They got to build it up, get out there. So the Celtics definitely needed this time off to heal and recoup. The Cavs are dealing with injuries themselves. Jarrett Allen is questionable. He didn't play the last 2 games for them. Donovan Mitchell has been playing hobbled. He injured himself at the knee again when he scored 50 in a losing effort. If you guys watch the games, he's only playing one side of the ball. Sometimes he'll make an effort on the defensive end if, he's matched up and has to. But then the next offensive end, he gives it up because you can see he's in pain. His gait's different. So I'm actually wondering how long is he going to last if he's in danger of maybe further injuring himself. So that's something to keep an eye on. I know this is not the most exciting series. I know that people all over have Boston being favored, but is there anything, I'll start with you, Ev, is there anything the Cavs can do to make this competitive?
Oh, I know Evan's gonna make all my points. So I'm just sit here looking pretty.
Well, I'll say this. I do think, unfortunately, there's addition by subtraction with Jarrett Allen being out from the standpoint of I don't think they're at their best when they play both Mobley and Allen together, simply because Mobley's shot isn't there. And because
he doesn't know
of
how to
both
play
of
any
their
other position.
exactly because of their pedigree, you can't bring one of them off the bench, right? So what it does open up is when you just have Mobley in center, you're able to get Strus out there with Mitchell and Garland. Okoro, though I'm not crazy about him, it does open up the floor some, so that Mitchell can operate. I don't think there's much coincidence that the last 2 games, after Allen gets hurt earlier in the series, you see Mitchell's best performances in the end of the series versus Orlando. Your boys got to step up, though, Hans. I'm be honest with you. Garland, his offense has abandoned him, and Mitchell's going to need help in this series because Derek White and Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown, they're going to game plan to stop Mitchell, right? And so
100%.
It's going to be up to the other guys. They can take advantage of the fact that Kristaps is out because he's the X factor for the Celtics in difficult situations to keep it from just turning into a jump shooting isocentric Tatum and Brown performance. Without him, if Cleveland keeps it close, they have a chance to get some poor habits out of Tatum and Brown. But that's a tall task from a team that was 24 minutes away from having to answer some very major questions in the offseason, being the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I don't know if eking out that game versus a Magic team that got 2 for 28 from Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs, I don't know if that performance changes the question marks that I still have for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Gotcha.
Quite frankly, this is over for 5 at best. Cleveland can't win on the road. They haven't won a game on the road the entire last series. They're 1-2 against Boston during the season. They lost both games in Boston. They won, he scratched out a 1-point win against Boston when they did win at home. And here we go. With a team that believes, even when they did play that Boston team, they weren't at full strength, and Boston like just played like they didn't care until it was late. Quite frankly, you're going to continuously need a Herculean effort from Mitchell to have any type of chance. And the other point that you guys made is just, Darius Garland has to step up. But even in him stepping up, you need great games out of everybody else. You need great shooting from Strus. Okoro needs to go in and pull a page out of OG's book, right? That's the type of player that he needs to be for Cleveland. They just don't have enough. So I anticipate unless Boston plays with their full, they're going to dispel them fairly quickly. Like they're not going to have, this is not going to be a chance.
Yeah, and that's the concern I have. Even if they do play with their food, I still see Boston doing that.
I believe in you, Donovan.
Here's my hesitation is because Donovan's not 100%. That's what concerns me. If Donovan was 100%, we've seen him give you 50. We've seen him give you 40, 50 in the playoffs. And I'm hoping that, he gets that little injection, that'll get him through. But I don't see it happening. Last game, Strus was anemic until the last half of it. Karis LeVert, we couldn't find him for a bit.
Quiet.
It's not looking good against a Boston team that defends well and scores well as well.
Let me ask the group though, if Kristaps can't come back, doesn't Cleveland have the size advantage to stop them from scoring in the paint?
No,
I
Mobley
wouldn't
doesn't.
know. I was about to say, if there was
Mobley's not
Allen
that
instead
guy.
of Mobley, yeah, but no. Now you have to worry about it. You putting that on Mobley to be your defensive anchor.
Yeah, but who's scoring in the inside for the Celtics? I think Cleveland can game plan to stop them from shooting threes if they don't have to worry about the
I think
inside.
that has to be their game plan though.
Yeah, I'm
That's
about
the
to
only
say.
way they're gonna do
But
it.
the thing is, but Cleveland's offense is like us is anemic, bro. Like they need to be on their margin for error is so slim, and by slim I mean non-existent going into the Boston matchup.
Nah, Darius Garland's
Yeah.
gonna come back. His stuff is gonna come back this series. I can feel it.
Listen, man, I wanted to come back. I wanted to
You
come
feel
back.
me,
I
Evan?
guess for me is they have too much stuff to overcome on their side. Does that make sense? It's like I have to
Before they even can
overcome
worry about them.
Yeah, before I can even get to what the Celtics are doing, I have so much on my side that I have to overcome, and that concerns me. That's why I'm concerned. Now, if they were healthy, remember they made a run during the season. If Mitchell was healthy, Ev, I know you're saying, and because that's when Randall went down and all of that.
No. That's not what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. The man just scored 89 points in 2 games. This looks like the type of injury that hurts when you're down 15, not the type of injury that hurts when
You're
you're
saying
up 12.
Donovan?
Yes, that's all I'm
No,
saying.
that's not true.
Look,
I watched it when it happened.
It
I
looks
watched
like it
when
hurts more
happened.
when he's losing. That's all I'm saying.
No,
If you could score
I
50
like
and
Jamal,
39.
like Jamal Evan.
no,
I'm just saying.
he
Got
hurt
those
it in the
2 game
middle
winners
of
with
the
that
50.
hurt calf that he got. No, that's weird. That was interesting.
He hurt it in the middle of the 50.
And he figured out
It
how to
wasn't-
score 39 the next game when they needed it.
It's against the Magic. Yeah.
And look, he was playing halfway. He wasn't playing the other side of the ball. You can't do that. Who's he gonna guard? That's what I'm saying. Like, think about it.
Let's say
Holiday can put a point. Whites can put a point. Tatum can put
I
a
got
point.
you, I
Bruh,
got you.
you can't hide him. You can hide him
this
against
is
the
this is
Magic.
gonna get ugly
You can't hide that,
very
like,
quickly. Very quickly.
That's my concern. Now, if Donovan is okay, I give him a fighting chance. I give him a fighter's chance. But
For what?
Donovan's
One
not
game?
100. Nah, I think they can get 2. I think they can get 2. Like Ev
No,
says,
that's it. If they play with their
sometimes the
full,
Celtics
yeah.
get full of themselves. They just start jacking up, and then if Kristaps not there, they're just gonna keep shooting.
Tatum is going to shoot those threes, and if he keeps bricking, that's the the Cavs are going to win some games because of that.
You know, just make Jalen go left. Listen, man, this little hope. Make him go left. You know, there's something there. There's something there. Listen, man, I gotta give him some type of hope. All hope is not lost, but I just think it's an arduous task. But I'm here for it.
The Cavaliers don't
two-
value the ball. They don't value the ball.
Oh, here we go. Speaking of which, speaking of people who don't value the ball, let's talk about our old timers, guys. This is not for Lou. This is not for Christian. This is for me and Ev. Those of us who are in our mid to upper 30s. The old timers of the game, man. They're gone. We got no KD, no Steph, no LeBron. Embiid is out. Are we seeing a changing of the guard? Are
it.
legends going to fade away into the sunset
I have something about it.
until they disappear?
Oh, man.
Is this a
If you ask Kendrick
know,
Perkins, he
yeah.
wants LeBron to retire today.
wow? Kendrick is just, don't get me started on Kendrick.
Did you not hear that?
No,
Huh? So you
But
hear him
no,
say
I
that?
I didn't hear him say that.
He
I try
said
not to
he
pay
said
too
if he
much
keeps on
attention to
going,
Kendrick.
it's gonna hurt his legacy. So might as well retire. He should retire.
He went 21 years with. Okay, all right. Anyway,
So,
Yeah, I'm
so
not
here's
saying I
the
was
thing.
agreeing with him.
Here's the thing to that statement, and I'm not adding credence to what Kendrick Perkins said, but with these players and with the advancements in health and technology and whatnot, we're seeing a greater majority of players age well from a basketball standpoint, right? So we're not seeing the falling off the cliff like we did 10, 20 years ago when our superstars, they just showed up one day and they were done and like done, right? We're seeing, and we talked about this over the past couple of weeks, like in calling them out. We see LeBron can get you 30. We see KD can get you 30, right? We see these older players can get you numbers that look good. But what made them special was in big moments, they used to get you 40. They used to get you 50. They used to go to toe to toe with whoever was on the other side and pull out games. And we're not seeing that from them anymore because they are older. They're old, right? So aging looks different for them. And then in the case of like your Kawhis, your Embiids, your Jimmy Butlers, they're not healthy enough to make it through seasons, right? So they're when they're on, they look great, but they're unable to make it through full seasons. So, you know, when you look at, you know, your final 8, and outside of Kyrie, who's a supporting cast, your oldest superstar is what, Jokic, 28 years old, basically, right? Tatum's a old 25, 26, because he's been in the league for 8, 9 years.
been in the playoffs like every single year.
Yeah. I don't think
Jalen
we're
Brunson
seeing
looks like he's older, but he's only 27.
exactly. We're you know, I appreciate that. You know, we're not
Brunson looks
seeing-
like an old catcher's mitt, man.
Not
Listen,
even-
man. Brunson looks like, as my boy the Pop Mamba dropped for me, he looks like he's scored the most in a 5-game span in the playoffs since Michael Jordan in 1993. Shout out to the Pop Mamba with the
So he
stats.
looks
coming.
I mean, it's
Curry,
easy when
looks
he
like
when he plays
Jordan.
240 minutes out of 240 minutes, Evan.
Put up his per 30, his per 48
So
against
far
anybody.
in this podcast, Brunson looks like Curry, Jordan, who else? Magic, Kareem,
whoever else
Bill,
the stats says he looks like. You know how all the big
Allen
men always look
Houston,
like Will Chamberlain when their stats
Ray,
come up.
Ray Allen.
He looks
Just-
he looks better than half the folks you just mentioned. But anywho, what
Stop
I was
stealing my
saying
thunder,
is-
Pod Mamba. I was going to mention that. To answer your question, Ev, yes, we're old and it's out because Denver's getting trampled right now by the young Minnesota Timberwolves. This is wild. This is wild by 30. It's wild. I can't.
It's
It's a
happening
young
before
man's
our
league,
eyes,
man.
man. You know, when you
young
show up
man's
at Highs, you've been balling lately. When you show up and them young 20-year-olds that know how to play are there, you know, you at the point where you kind of start picking your spots. You know, you know what you can and
I'll
can't
give you
do
a
on
funny
the court.
story. I'll give you a funny story about that real quick as we wrap it up. It was years ago. I was a therapist. I was getting back into the flow of playing. I haven't played for like years. No, a year. I haven't played for like a year. So went to LA Fitness, got dressed, worked out a little bit, went in, and the first thing I saw was a young dude throw an alley off the backboard and dunk. And I was like, I'm gonna wait till they run a couple more games so I get on this court real quick. I was like, kid you not. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wait till they get tired before I get on this court and play some games. So I understand what you mean, bro. First thing I saw, I was like, wow, okay.
He just threw it up, waited for the bounce and caught it.
Nah, he
I wouldn't be scared. I'd go up and challenge him.
Caught it, bang, did a winning, boom, and I was like,
I'd block
okay.
him if it was me.
I one up that story because it too similar. This is when I finished my workout and I was like, oh, let me go get some cardio. I'm gonna go run. Men just starting it off the wall and catching it off the wall. I'm multiple times. It's like, bang. And one of them, probably in the third one, he bent the rim. I went into the treadmill.
Relax,
To
dude.
the treadmill.
Relax with the bangs, bro. No OVO.
I can't think of a
No, yeah.
more humbling moment than that feeling. The moment when you start having that feeling in life that, nah, I don't want none of that.
Listen,
Like,
man.
I never thought I'd get here. I never thought I'd get here.
Because the young girls, that gets us hype. We're like, oh,
Bruh, the young
Bet you
girls,
won't
it
do
could
it
have
on
been
me.
Giannis out there. It could have been Giannis out
Look,
there. Listen, I'm going to try Giannis today.
I
listen,
say it like this.
do it on me.
Right now, we all looking like J. Cole when it comes to the.
Making a
We all
business
get
decision.
We're like, you know what,
We got
guys?
families, man. We got families. We're good.
Udonis Haslam never felt this way. He would challenge every shot.
He's
First
a
of all,
thug.
Udonis
That's different.
Haslam was mad when they threw him an alley-oop, and he says, "Fam,
Yeah, he was like, what are you doing?
okay, I'm 43 years old. There's no
With all
not
these
even here for him.
these old stars or older stars, I guess we're gonna call them. Is it good for the NBA or is it bad for the NBA? Because
It's
I feel like
beautiful for the NBA.
Great for them.
But in what sense? Because all these guys are household names that are not going to be played for the rest of the playoffs. So are their ratings going to stay the same, or are they going to plummet because of it?
Nah, the names of the guys who beat them, right? The Anthony Edwards, right? The Shea Gillies.
Oh, well,
right?
that's
guys-
Jorby. That's Jorby right there. I mean, so everyone's gonna like watching Anthony Edwards now.
I think what's happening, and I think why it's good, is because last year we saw it starting. We saw the bubbling of it, right? This year they've kicked the doors down and kicked the old guys out. Now it's okay. Are they going to carry it? I think Team USA is going to be the last time that we see these, I hate calling them old guys because I'm older than all of them, but that we see this old guard, right?
They're gonna do work too. They're gonna whoop everyone's ass.
They are bask together in glory. But even with that, right? Outside of them maybe teaming up with some of these young guys as new contracts come out, I think this is the last we're seeing of any of these guys leading teams into true championship contention. I think the new wave is here. This is the season where they put their foot down and have taken over the league.
Facts. To end it, like Ev said, the Olympics is going to be the victory lap. Shout out to Nipsey. It's going to be the victory lap for the old guard, and the new guard's going to take over. Guys, as always, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate all the love. Remember, if you want additional content, slide on over to the YouTube channel, 3on3 Podcast, and check out the additional content. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. See you guys next week.
What's up, guys? Thank you for listening to the 3on3 Podcast. Please be sure to give the episode a thumbs up if you loved it. Hit that subscribe button, and last but not least, hit that bell so that way you're notified every time we drop a new episode. Hit us up on our social media, guys. You can find us at the 3on3 Podcast on IG and Twitter. If you want to give us any ideas or suggestions, shoot us an email at the 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys next time.